So, hello everyone. A very good afternoon to all present. I am Akanksha and I'm the product manager at Pi Academy. We will be starting our webinar soon. Looks like a lot of folks are still trickling in, so we would wait for a couple of minutes and start by around 12:05. That's great. So looks like we can start now. So let me introduce myself again. I am Akanksha. I'm the product manager at Pi Academy Tutors. Pi Academy has been helping students and parents for the last 10 years in their 11 plus exam journey. It was started by Preeti, and she has had an experience of around 15 years in coaching students for the 11 plus exams. And with her experience, she has set up the website Pi Academy, where you can unlock various past and practice papers for the 11 plus, pre-11 plus GCSE exam preparation. So today we are meeting to understand the 11 plus exam syllabus. So in the last couple of months, we have received a lot of messages for parents asking for clarification on the subject-wise syllabus in the 11 plus exams, and more specifically, which topics are included and which ones we are supposed to let go of. So with this, we would be focusing on this topic today. So the objective today is to first understand the 11 plus exam and its core subjects. Then we would move on to analyzing grammar schools and the various exam boards in the grammar schools. We would then have a breakdown of the key topics in 11 plus English, followed by 11 plus maths. And then we would discuss how to tackle some difficult 11 plus exam topics. Post that, we would share our free syllabus checklist and formulas, which you guys can very easily download onto your system and use. And finally, you can ask your questions in the parents Q&A session. So now coming to what is the 11 plus exam. So as we all know, the 11 plus is an exam which is conducted by both grammar and independent schools to gain entry into these schools' secondary section. And it is a very difficult exam. They have a selective admissions process, and it is used for entry into year 7. So the grammar schools, they would be conducting the exams around the month of September in 2026, and independent schools would be conducting it in January 2027. Now, here is a reality check for all of us, that out of over 100,000 students who sit the 11 plus every year, only 5% secure a place in a grammar school. This only goes to say how important it is for us to make sure that, number one, we have covered the entire syllabus, all the topics within the syllabus, and secondly, that we have given the child sufficient time to practice and revise. So now coming to the 11 plus exam subjects. So grammar schools, the grammar school 11 plus test conducts, it includes one or more of the following subjects. So these are English, mathematics, verbal reasoning, and non-verbal reasoning. But you would obviously notice that certain schools, they might not be asking reasoning type of questions in the 11 plus exams. So we would always recommend you to check out the school's website in order to see what is the actual syllabus that they would be asking in the exam that they conduct. Now coming to the 11 plus exam boards, there are chiefly 4 boards: GL, which is Granada Learning; CSSE, which is Consortium of Selective Schools in Essex; FSCE, which is Future Stories Community Enterprise; and SET, which is Selective Eligibility Test. And as you can see, most schools, which is around 85% of them, follow the GL, which is Granada Learning Board. And because of this, the GL board tends to be slightly more difficult and trickier compared to the other 3 boards listed. And as most of us would already know, that independent schools follow a different system, and they follow the ISCB board, or certain schools conduct exams of their own. Now coming to the meat of the presentation, which is the 11 plus English exam boards and the challenging topics that you need to keep an eye out for while preparing for the 11 plus exams. So coming to the 11 plus English boards, we have the GL, SET, and CSSE boards. As you can see, GL has an MCQ type of question with 1 correct option. SET follows MCQs with 1 or more correct options, and CSSE generally includes descriptive and tick the box kind of answers. We would shortly be showing you sample papers of these 3 exam boards, and we would also be sending over these papers to you over email so that you can download and practice them in your own free time. So as you can see in GL, they cover comprehension, spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Something similar is covered in SET, which is spelling, a variety of comprehension texts and questions, whereas CSSE covers comprehension and applied reasoning. And the time duration for GL and SET is around 50 minutes each, and whereas for CSSE, it is around 60 minutes. So I will quickly show you what a sample GL paper would look like. So here you can see this is Pi Academy's 11 plus English GL style pack. This has been created based on the previous GL style papers, which have been asked by the various grammar schools. As you can see, we have mentioned very detailed instructions that the student is expected to read, understand, and then start practicing their GL paper. Similar to the actual GL paper, we have also included a section called symbols. So symbols such as going to the next page, do not turn the page unless told so, and stop working and await instructions. These are symbols which are mentioned in the actual GL papers, and it's extremely important for the student to get used to it. So as you can see in GL, we have comprehension type of questions with the long comprehension text broken down by the lines. And here you can see we have the various questions within comprehension. And similar to this, you would also see SET would also be following similar types of questions. So in SET, as you can see, we have certain spelling exercises listed. And as we scroll down after the spelling section, we would have the comprehension section, quite similar to GL. So this tells us that it is very important for us to focus on the main topic, which is comprehension, because once you are comfortable with that, you would be able to practice, and solve any question paper of any board conducted by any school. So understanding the syllabus and knowing what lies within the syllabus is very important because of that. Now let's take a quick look into the CSSE sample paper. Here as well, we have mimicked the actual paper by including the instruction section, followed by a comprehension passage. And as you can see here, we have the tick the box kind of questions and questions where the student is supposed to write down using a pen and paper, as opposed to selecting one of the multiple choice questions. So these are some sample papers of GL, SET, and CSSE. We would recommend that you also check out Pi Academy's practice papers. So in order to do that, you need to head over to Pi Academy, and under 11 plus papers, you would be able to see the 11 plus practice paper section. And over here, you can see that we have created bespoke practice papers for the various boards which are out there. So we have GL, Maths and English, we have the CEM. Those of you who are focusing on grammar schools in Bucks and Kent, you can check out these papers. We also have the CSSE papers, independent practice packs, and the ISCB practice papers. So these papers would make sure that you have a focused preparation in the board that you are looking to ace. So that was a quick look into the various boards which are followed by grammar schools. And now we would look into the 11 plus English syllabus. So one of the key things that parents don't realize is just how vast the 11 plus English syllabus can be. Now, if you look at the bunch of topics that we have mentioned here, you might think that, oh, it looks like there are around 6 to 7 main topics that we need to cover. That's it. But it's not that easy. So when we look at comprehension, creative writing, spelling, punctuation, grammar, and vocabulary, each of these main topics are broken down into 10 to 15 subtopics. And what our team of Oxford and Cambridge educated English tutors have done is that they have gone through all the past papers asked by grammar schools, and they have tagged each question within the subtopics that lie within the main topics, making sure that your preparation is extremely focused. So this brings us to the main key skills which lie within comprehension. So within comprehension, we have inference, close reading, information retrieval, summary, predictions, vocabulary, author's choice, and literary devices. Now, it is very easy to miss out on a couple of these topics, given that there are 8 quite detailed subtopics within comprehension. And in order to make it easy for you to have a very targeted and focused preparation, Pi Academy has created the 11 plus comprehension pack. So if you head over to Pi Academy and hover on 11 plus papers, you would be able to see the 11 plus comprehension test papers. And all these papers are segregated by subtopics. So as you can see, we have 8 papers on inference, lots of papers on close reading, information retrieval, summary, predictions, vocabulary, author's choice. All of this is included. And making sure that you practice all these 40 practice papers would ensure that your child has covered the entire comprehension skill and subtopic. And one very interesting thing that we have done in this pack is that along with providing you with the question and model answer, we have provided you with hints and references. So for example, here the hint says, pay attention to the variety of facilities, and the reference tells them to look at the whole text. So the child would be able to get a hint and a nudge towards creating the perfect model answer, which has also been authored by our Oxford and Cambridge educated English tutors. And along with all of this, we have provided something very interesting, which we called a bad answer. So basically a commentary on what an answer is not supposed to look like, because this is also something which is equally important as knowing how to write the right answer. So do check out Pi Academy's comprehension papers, which have extremely detailed topic-wise segregated practice papers. Now, after comprehension, we would be coming to the next main topic, which is creative writing. And the 5 important styles which are included in creative writing are descriptive, persuasive, narrative, expository, and argumentative. So we would again head over to the Pi Academy website. And over here, under the English section, you would be able to see the 11 plus creative writings. And what we have done with these 20 plus creative writing tasks is that we have made sure that we cover all the various creative writing styles which are included. And so, for example, here in creative writing as well, you would be able to see a very detailed question followed by a hint that the child is supposed to follow. We are also including very detailed plans, which includes the beginning, middle, and end. This helps the child structure their creative writing answers and makes sure that they are able to score as high as they possibly could. Followed by a model answer, which helps the child understand what exactly it is that they're supposed to, that their final answer is supposed to look like. Over here as well, we provide a look into what a poor response looks like. So a poor response is how you are not supposed to write your answer. The examples of this are also mentioned, along with a commentary on what makes this answer a poor answer. So why exactly is this a poor answer is also mentioned in a very detailed manner. You can also check out the checklist which is attached here. So in this checklist, we make sure that the child is addressing all the various components which make up their creative writing piece. So whether it is the creative writing plan and sequencing, or the writing structure, or the sentence structure that they are supposed to follow, followed by vocabulary that they have included in their creative writing piece, the language techniques they've used, the figurative language they've used, and spelling and grammar. All of this is included in each checklist, and it makes sure that the child is covering all the various subtopics within creative writing. So do check out Pi Academy's 11 plus creative writing pack to have a segregated and targeted topic-wise practice. And a good news for all of you who are attending, we are giving a flat 30% discount to the attendees of this webinar. So you can use the coupon code webinar30. Our support team would just drop the coupon code in the chat, and you can utilize it and get an extra 30% off on our creative writing, comprehension, and English past papers. So coming back to the English syllabus, after creative writing, the other main topic is SPAG, which is spelling, punctuation, and grammar. And this includes skills such as types of words, punctuation, spellings, synonyms and antonyms, and grammar. And with this in mind, understanding how important it is for students to practice SPAG questions, we have created the 11 plus SPAG practice papers. You would be able to access this as well under the 11 plus papers tab. And over here, this entire paper, it covers around 30 plus practice papers. And as you can see, we have included multiple subtopics. So kinds of words, which includes nouns, pronouns, determiners, adjectives, moving on to different punctuation styles and spellings. Finally, followed by grammar, synonyms, and antonyms. We have basically broken down the 11 plus English SPAG questions into multiple subtopics to make sure that once your child practices all these 30 plus practice papers, they would be very well versed in the various subtopics which are included in the 11 plus syllabus. And you can use the webinar 30 coupon code on the SPAG practice papers as well. Now coming to the next main topic, which is vocabulary. So the key topics within vocabulary are root words, prefixes and suffixes, inferring meaning, close reading, senses, one-word substitutions, idioms, phrases, proverbs, field of study, and profession, and phobias. So it looks like vocabulary, which has perhaps one of the most subtopics within it, is extremely difficult for a child who is in year 5, year 4 to be able to cover using just the national curriculum. So in order to give them an extra boost, make sure that you check out Pi Academy's 11 plus vocabulary test papers, designed and written by Oxford and Cambridge tutors. And here we have meticulously gone through all the previous past papers, got hold of all the questions, tagged them under the various question types, and created these practice papers for you so that it's extremely easy for you to have a focused and comprehensive preparation. So here you can see we have multiple test papers on root words, prefixes and suffixes, inference meanings, clause, animals, plants, and foods. So basically making sure that they are well versed with different vocabulary related to these themes, followed by senses, one-word substitutions, literary devices, idioms, phrases, proverbs, and many more. And based on the feedback by parents, so we were approached by a lot of parents who said that their children were struggling specifically with literary devices. Based on this feedback, Pi Academy has also created the 11 plus literary devices test papers. So this test papers are very detailed. As you can see, we have covered each literary device separately. So alliteration has its own theory notes, followed by the practice paper. Same with simile, metaphor, personification, imagery, symbolism, satire, amplification, everything. So you can check out Pi Academy's 11 plus literary devices as well. Make sure that you're using the 30% off coupon code. It is valid for the next 24 hours only. And you can unlock these practice papers as well and improve your vocabulary skills. Now, I would show you certain very focused, challenging areas within 11 plus English. So starting within comprehension, the most challenging area is vocabulary in context. So for example, here you can see the question goes this way. John was a brusque man, tall and harsh. He only ever told the truth, even if it would hurt your feelings. What does brusque mean? So we do not expect a child to be able to know the real meaning of the word which is mentioned here, but we do expect them to be able to infer it and understand the vocabulary in the context that it is mentioned. So this is one key area that requires a lot of practice for the student to get used to answering these types of questions. And here's a little insight. So one of the main reasons, like why do students struggle with this vocabulary, with this topic, which is vocabulary in context? So the main reason is that the 11 plus uses advanced words that your child wouldn't see in their everyday schoolwork. So that is why it's so important for you to make sure that they have access to the 11 plus vocabulary and literary devices practice papers, because we have created one-stop shop with all the most important vocabulary related words in one place so that you can unlock them all in one go and make sure that your vocabulary is up to the point. Now, followed by the second important key area, which is inference questions within comprehension. So for example, here you can see that the child is expected to infer the answer from the question from the options which are given to them. And this again requires a lot of practice. So as we had just shown you, you can check out the 11 plus comprehension papers and focus very specifically on the inference style questions. So over here under 11 plus papers, we have 11 plus comprehension. And here, as you can see, we have papers which are focused, targeted on inference. And you can unlock these papers, you can download them, you can print them, and you can share it with your child so that they can start practicing. Now, here's a question for all of you. What do you think is the number one reason that students lose marks in the 11 plus creative writing? If you want, you can type the answer into the chat box, but I'll quickly tell you what the reason is. The reason is that they fail to plan their creative writing pieces. So most 11 plus examiners report that creative writing marks are lost because students skip out on having a clear beginning, middle, and end. So creative writing is an art and it's extremely important that we focus, that we approach it in a very scientific manner. So for this in mind, we have made sure that all our creative writing questions come with a very detailed checklist. So once you go through the checklist, and as you can see, once you follow what you have been asked to do in that creative writing, and once you've checked all the pointers in the checklist, you can't go wrong. So make sure that you check out Pi Academy's creative writing practice papers. Now, within creative writing, this is what the beginning, middle, and end looks like. You're supposed to essentially structure your answer using the beginning, middle, and end. And you're also supposed to use the PEE technique, which is point, evidence, and explain. So do check out Pi Academy's creative writing practice papers. And next week, we would be running a creative writing masterclass where we would be touching up on the PEE technique. So do keep an eye out on our email and do register for the masterclass. Now, for those of you who have attended the webinar, we would be sharing the 11 plus creative writing checklist with you. This checklist would make sure that the answers that your child is writing is extremely well structured and that they are able to address all the requirements of their creative writing pieces. Now with this, I thank you all for attending the session on 11 plus English syllabus. We would now be moving on to the 11 plus math syllabus, and this section would be taken over by Suraj. So Suraj, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Akansha, for highlighting all the points which are related to the 11 plus English syllabus. Now we are going to we will be extremely focused towards understanding about the 11 plus maths syllabus here. And within the 11 plus maths syllabus, we will understand what all different topics are covered within it. And also, we will try to highlight what all points parents needs to understand in order to ace this entire portion of the 11 plus examination. Now, before that, whatever is present in this PPT has been covered after we have taken the questions directly from the parents during the sessions. Now, the first question that they ask to me is how much topics needs to be covered for the entire 11 plus syllabus. And they think that everything and anything which is under the sun will come under this syllabus. But it is not like that. Let me show you how exactly it is divided. Now, the entire 11 plus exam math syllabus has been divided into 6 main topics. As you guys can see here on the left hand side, these are the main topics which are present, where numbers, statistics, probability, ratio and proportions, algebra, geometry and measures, all of these topics are covered under 11 plus exam math syllabus. But there are 80 plus subtopics which are fixed, which comes under these main topics. That is why we need to understand each and every main topic in detail in order to target these 80 plus subtopics here. But how will you identify which question lies under which topic? For this, what Pi Academy has done is they have divided the entire syllabus and the questions into topic-wise detailed tags. For example, if I show you, this is the 11 plus maths topic-wise page where you can go and practice all of these topics which are present here. For example, if you want to practice questions on geometry and measures, just click on it and all of the questions will be present in front of you. Similarly, if you want to practice questions related to numbers, you can go here and click on it and all of the subtopics are also listed just below it. So it is very easy to navigate as well. Now let us come back and understand how exactly all of these main topics are going to put pressure to the students during the examination. There is one more query by many of the parents as to how to tackle the examination. Now, within the examination, first and the most important thing is our time is always going to be the enemy, because if I give the student 24 hours to solve any paper, it is very easy for him or her in order to solve each and every question and submit it back to me, which we generally do it in the homework. But what happens when they are given a time pressure that they need to finish a certain part of question within 50 minutes or 55 minutes? We are putting the time pressure on the students as well. Now let us see where exactly do the students lose their time and also marks while solving the questions. The first most important point is that the students fail to identify the correct operation they need to use in the multi-step word problems. For example, if a person is having a profit, now that profit can ask you about the uh, previous cost that it was present there for the item, or it can also ask you about the upcoming price for the item after 3 years. So all of this is dependent upon how you approach the question. Were you able to break down the entire question into parts and understand it and then solve it? Or are you just giving a random operation and a random formula to solve that particular question? So that is why numbers becomes very important for us in order to ace the 11 plus examination. And these are some of the subtopics which are listed down below. And these are some of the most repeated topics which are basically present during the 11 plus examination. Now, let us understand about some of the patterns and sequences questions as well. Now, this becomes very tricky for the student who are not familiar with these type of questions in the examination. Let me showcase it to you here. For this question, we have N5, which means add up the first 5 counting numbers. So N5 becomes 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Now it's very easy, that is 50. Now O3 means you have to add up all the 3 odd numbers. So you will be adding 1, 3 and 5 together. This becomes 9. Now E4. E4 means add up the first 4 even numbers. So E4 becomes 2, 4, 6, 8 added together, giving you 20 as the right answer. But look at the question. The question says you are told that N200 is equals to 20100 and N401 is equals to 80601. Now, right after reading this statement, the student who has read this question for 1 minute and tried to analyze the entire question is now going to lose hope even to answer this question. He won't be able to understand what exactly am I asked to find out and how am I going to find it out with the help of the clues given here. And that is why students generally suffer and also struggle with these type of topics, especially where they have to understand what exactly is the pattern which has been used in summing the entire sequences, and that confuses them as well. But we make sure that they are familiar before the examination about such type of questions. They just have to go to the topic wise page, practice these type of questions, try to find out the answers for it, and if they are struggling, they can surely reach out to the support team in order to get the final answers as well. Okay. Now let us quickly move on to the next slide and learn about statistics and probability. Whenever we look at this particular portion within mathematics, I myself, while teaching the student, cover this topic at the end of the uh, examination. It's like when the exam is approaching, then we start these type of topics because it is present at the end of the entire syllabus. Now, what happens is this is extremely easy and it is also going to fetch a lot of marks to the students as well. But generally, due to some time constraints, half of the parents doesn't even know about this topic to be present in the 11 plus examination. And because there is no awareness, it becomes very difficult for the student who is finding these questions for the first time during the examination to solve. But the formulas that are used in these type of questions and the question which are present in it are very easy level and medium level, and that is why it becomes a very important topic for the students to score during the examination as well. So this should be given equal priority with the other topics that we are going to discuss about. Now let us quickly move on to the next slide and learn about some of the topics which makes it confusing for the student, where they have to use the formulas. It is very hard for them to recall the entire correct formula for solving such ratio and proportion questions, especially while solving direct and inverse proportion. They get confused between whether I need to multiply the unit by that particular object, or shall I divide that particular unit for that particular question. So it becomes confusing for them as well in order to identify which operation needs to be used in these type of questions. And at the end, they also struggle with the units. if the question is about surface area and the ratio of the surface areas are given to them, sometimes what I have seen is students write down the units at the end of the solution as well, but it is not required because the question asked you about the ratios. That is why these type of small mistakes can be identified earlier, and with a good practice of these type of questions, they will be able to develop a familiarity as to how exactly to represent their answers, especially in the 11 plus CM examination, and also where they have to write down their entire solution, for example, in the exams of the independent school exams. So there they need to develop these type of familiarity too. Now, let us quickly move on and understand about the algebra here. Whenever I go across algebra and I start this chapter, the first thing that I get to hear is the letters have been introduced with numbers. And it is very complex for the student to understand what exactly is this algebra. Why are letters now being used along with the numbers? And most of them are struggling because they do not have any clarity about how to use algebra in forming the equation, in solving the equation, and especially these type of questions which are related to simultaneous equations or algebra dependent problems makes them suffer a lot. For this, we make sure that once you have understood the basic concepts of the algebra and once you are able to solve the easy level questions of algebra, we can progress the entire difficulty level as well. And for that, we have a planner which will help them out in understanding how exactly to go about these type of questions. Now, as already shown by Akansha here, this 11 plus maths past papers is having a download planner option present in it. If I open it, you will be able to see for all of the papers which are listed here, the paper level is also attached. If you can see here, these are the paper levels which are mentioned. The questions which are present inside these papers are going to be of easy level. So the student can surely go through all of these papers and solve the easy level first. And if the student who is able to confidently answer any question which are of easy level can move on to the medium level, and accordingly with the level of the difficulty they can choose their question as well. And this is how Pi Academy makes sure that all the questions with all the difficulty levels must be understood by the student, and before the examination they should be confident enough in order to tackle any question which they are going to face in the examination. Okay, now let us talk about another important topic which is mostly covering the 15 to 20% of the entire 11 plus exam paper, but are mostly missed by the students because they forget the formulas which are related to it. Now, to remember the formulas, what we have done is we have separately given here the formula sheets. Our support team will be sharing with you the formula sheets as well, where you all can go through the uh, resources which are present here. And this will help you in having all of the formulas which are required for the geometry, especially in the 2D, for the 2D and the 3D shapes present here within one page itself. So look at this. For the area of triangle, it is half times base times height. So it is clearly mentioned, and with some of the examples, it is also given to you in the entire formula sheet present here. So this way, it is very easy for the students to revise as well. And always make sure that once you have read the topic, you are revising it again and again so that it gets crystal clear in your head and you are able to attempt any question confidently. Okay. And once you are revising all of the formulas, it becomes very easy to apply it in the real examination as well. Okay. Now, these are some of the main subtopics which are present inside this main topic, which is geometry and measures. These are angles, rotations, 2D shapes, 3D shapes, triangles, rectangle, square. Then we have some of the 2D shapes such as parallelogram, trapezium, polygons. So all of these topics are very important in the geometry and measures section. And this consists of nearly around 15 to 20% of the entire 11 plus examination paper. So it is one of the keys which is going to make sure that you are through this entire 11 plus examination. Now, let us look at one of the questions which is related to geometry. As you can see here, it says, what is the size of the angle labeled X in the diagram? You can see there is a triangle shaped figure which is given to us, but it is not closed completely. Now, if the student is not familiar with these type of questions, they will be guessing it up and they might end up adding random angles in order to get the final value of x. But that is going to be a big mistake because they were not familiar with these type of questions. They were not able to solve it during the real examination as well. And it is very difficult for the students to visualize during the actual examination, and they are also solving it under the time pressure. That is the most important thing that we should be aware of. And this is for most of the parents, that to practice such type of questions, they at first need to be aware about it. Then they should have a proper method where they are able to solve it quickly, and they are able to solve it within minutes, so that they can save up time for the other harder questions as well, especially the ones that I have shown you earlier for the arithmetic word problems. So those type of questions must be targeted, and it can only happen if you are putting less amount of time in these type of geometry and measures question. Now, let us quickly move forward and let us also talk about VR and NVR, which are the subjects which are not generally taught in the schools. Okay. And I have seen many of these students struggling with VR and NVR topics because they were unfamiliar with the entire exam pattern. They do not know what exactly to be done in series, or if the question is related to, let us say, reflection or rotation, they are unable to identify what exactly is the anti-clockwise direction of the entire figure and how will I be able to find it out quickly during the examination. So they struggle through the options. They do not know about the elimination tricks. They do not know about how to go about the options, and just with the help of one or two elements which are present in the given question, how to identify the correct answer in the first go, which can save a lot of time for them. And that is why we make sure that we have given a lot of practice to the students for the VR and NVR section as well. So as you can see here, within the 11 plus paper section on Pi Academy, you can go through this 11 plus verbal reasoning part. And within this, you have all of the questions which are related to the VR. So if I show you one of the papers, it is having codes in it, and these are the type of questions which are going to be covered in it. Now, this is going to help at first understand the student about the entire familiarization of these type of topics, and then it will also help him in understanding and developing how exactly to tackle such type of MCQ based questions. So all of this VR and NVR part has been present here in this particular section of our website. So you guys can also go through it. And if you are going through the 11 plus practice papers, we have practice papers for Kent, where you can see that VR and NVR parts are also mentioned in this way. So for all the practice papers as well, we have covered the entire subject as well for it. And accordingly, you guys can also go through it and give your child a better chance in order to understand about VR and NVR here. Now, let us quickly move forward and understand why it is the best time in order to prepare about the 11 plus examination. The thing that I have seen is, whenever there is a notification from a school that they are going to post this examination, it is at that time the parents get aware about the examination and then they try to find out most of the resources. But currently, you are at a position where you have the entire year left in front of you. And if you're starting early, it will give you an extra edge over the other students who are preparing from year four itself. So make sure that if you are starting late, you are unnecessarily putting on a lot of pressure on your child. The exam syllabus that I have shown to you with 80 plus subtopics which are present for the entire 11 plus math syllabus, if you have to cover it within 3 months, it is definitely possible, but it is definitely going to burn out the child as well. We make sure that with the help of the checklist that we provide to the students in order to track their progress as well, you can simply go through this checklist and go through each and every topics which are mentioned here, like numbers and place values, counting, read, write, order, and compare numbers. This way, you will be able to track progress of the of your child as well. Now, these are all the subtopics and the main topics which I have already discussed with you present here within the checklist. And this syllabus is also having a section where the parents can write down the comments. So in the entire 1 year gap, you will be able to identify what is the weakness of my child, what is the strength of my child, where exactly am I going to put a lot of pressure in order to understand about the topics which are given to me, and where do I need to give less amount of attention for each and every subtopic. Okay, so this is going to help you out in ideating what exactly your child needs. And this is why I say to most of the parents that if you are starting, then starting for the 11 plus examination, then it should be done early on, and it should be done with the right progressive plan as well. Now with this, let us understand how to tackle difficult 11 plus exam topics as well. At first, what you can do is you can start building your concepts with the help of the 11 plus video lessons that we provide. It will help you in practicing the entire concepts. For example, if you are struggling with the comprehension section within 11 plus English, then you can go through this video course, identify what are the topics that are present in it, how exactly are you going to cover it, and accordingly you can use the checklist which was present there earlier in order to find out what are the shortcomings which are present there in your preparation. Similarly, we have other 11 plus algebra advanced word problems video course as well. This will help you in slowly progressing towards the harder level questions too. So this way you will be able to figure out that how to tackle easy questions first. Right after the easy questions, how are you going to move on to the medium ones, and how are you going to excel in the 11 plus examination by practicing harder questions. Okay. And as you can see, you can get nearly around 500 plus practice and past paper questions from here. So this is going to be a good resource for your child too. And likewise, we have geometry course, we have algebra beginner word problems video course. We also have fractions word problems mastery video course. So these are all topic-wise video courses that you guys can go through and build a solid foundation before attempting any 11 plus examination. Now, when I talk about the preparation, we need to identify whether we are on the right track or not. How are you going to do it? You need to go into the practice mode now. Within the practice mode, as I have already shown you the topic wise page as well, let me walk you through this again. Here you have a collection of all of the questions which are asked in the 11 plus examination. Right now, we have discussed about the 80 plus subtopics which are present within the 6 plus main topics. So this is how exactly it is covered. And if you want to practice some questions related to unit and conversions, you just have to click on it and all the questions will be listed down one by one here in this page. So this way you can take the help of the topic wise page in order to solve any of the questions, and it will help you in practicing as well. Now let us talk about the revision part, where once we are done with the foundation building and we are done with the practicing of the papers, now let us understand how exactly are you going to revise whatever you have already learned. You need to make sure that you are doing the 11 plus exam revision and practice topic wise tests, which we provide here on Pi Academy. At first, you can you can go through these two papers which are present there for free. You can download the 10-minute test, try to attempt it and check whether you were able to solve all of the questions related to simultaneous equations or not. And then likewise, we have listed down all of the topics one by one. So within English, you have a different SPAC sections where you will be able to solve questions related to adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, conjunction, and similarly within the maths, you will be getting a whole list of questions related to fractions, LCM and HCF, factors, multiples and primes, indices, bit mass. So all of this is covered within this particular section, where it will help your child in revising whatever they have learned in the first two steps that we have taken here. And at the end, before the examination, we need to make sure that we are also giving the mock examination. Now, whenever we talk about the mock examination, it is not only the mock that is going to be impacting a lot in your child's performance. What generally people forget is after attempting the mock, they need to identify what all places has their child gone wrong into. If the child wasn't able to solve the questions related to statistics, then they need to make sure that they have to revise statistics chapter first. That is why what I basically ask most of the parents is that they should start practicing mocks 3 months prior to the examination. They should make sure that after every 3 days, the student is attempting one of the mocks. Once they are attempting the mock, they should make sure that they are not using any resources for their helps. And once they have already given the entire mock, they should analyze what all topics were they able to confidently answer, which topics that were present there, which child needed the help in, or what all topics were completely missed by the student, which he didn't even touch during the entire examination. So we need to segregate all of the topics in that way and then attempt those topic wise questions from our topic wise page, which is present here. This way, it will help the student in concept building, and it will also impact a lot on the 11 plus examination scores as well. Okay. So this is how you guys can tackle the entire difficulty level of the 11 plus examination here. Yeah. Now I would like to call Akansha ma'am to take over, and she will be discussing about the 11 plus examination in detail with you.
Great. So thank you, Suraj, for walking us through the 11 plus maths syllabus. And a big thank you to all of you who have attended the webinar. You can scan the coupon code, you can scan the QR code on this slide and join our 11 plus parents WhatsApp group. So you can discuss with our other parents as to how they are preparing, how their child is doing. And it's just a great community for people to join. So I would recommend that you scan the QR code and join our WhatsApp group, and make sure that you use the coupon code webinar 30. You would be able to get a flat 30% discount on all of Pi Academy's past and predicted papers. So for example, the English 11 plus English past papers, which are the actual papers asked by schools. So you can see we have St. Paul's, City of London schools. So these are the past and sample papers which have been provided by schools. And what Pi Academy has done is we have solved each of these papers and provided you with the solutions along with a detailed planner where we segregate the papers by difficulty level. So we have the easy papers listed, followed by the medium ones, and finally the hard papers at the end. And we have also created a schedule for you guys, so you can follow this week-wise schedule and practice the papers of your target school. So make sure that you utilize the coupon code, which is valid for the next 1 day, and you would be able to get a flat 30% off on all the 11 plus, pre-11 plus, 13 plus, GCSE, all our past and practice papers. And you would also be able to get a 30% off on our video courses. So as Suraj just showed us, we have very detailed video courses. These are extremely time effective. You can take these courses anytime that you want. You don't have to wait for a tutor to be available. And these are very detailed. As you can see, we have broken these courses as well within the various subtopics. So we have dedicated sections on information retrieval, vocabulary in context, close reading, inference, author's choice, all of it. So make sure you use the coupon code and check out Pi Academy's entire website, especially check out our 11 plus revision and practice resources, because here you would be able to unlock 90 10-minute tests. So these are great for revision. You can just hand over one test to your child after every concept that they have completed learning. So for example, if your child is done learning adverbs, just give them the adverbs revision test and they are done. They have had a revision session, and it would make sure that the concept sticks a lot longer. So with this, I would invite you all to join us for the Q&A session. You can drop your questions here. Suraj and I would take over and clarify them for you. So do use the coupon code and unlock the entire website. And we also have a very interesting page called the free additional resources. So on this page, as Suraj showed, we have included the 11 plus topic-wise syllabus checklist, which you can easily download, you can print it, and you can start checking off the topics as and when you finish them. And along with that, we also have detailed planners. We have also included a lot of formula sheets and certain very good to have papers such as the cubes and squares of numbers. These are really interesting. You can download them, print them on a piece of paper and just stick it on your bedroom door so that the child keeps, registering them as and when they walk by. We also have planners for 11 plus English. We have a very really well made list of misspelled words. So words that children generally have most issues with. For example, believe. I'm sure a lot of us adults also get confused as to whether it's the I before E or the E before I. So we have collected this list of tricky tricky spellings and tricky words, which would be great resource for you to go through and check out. We also have the VCOP pyramid, which is great for vocabulary, followed by the plural noun rules. So these are all free resources that you can unlock, and you would be able to access all these resources right in your dashboard. So if you click on Pi Academy's dashboard, these free resources would be available to all of you. You don't need to subscribe to any resource for this. They would be available sitting right there in your dashboard. So do check them out as well. And make sure that you utilize the webinar 30 coupon code. So I can see there's one question. Do you have something for students in year 4? So we do run year 4 Sunday classes. So as Suraj said that, the earlier you begin, the better your chance is at clearing the 11 plus exams. So for those of you who are in year 5, you can register for our year 5 Sunday classes. And those in year 4, you can register for the 11 plus exam foundation year 4 Sunday classes. So in these classes, we would be covering the basics, the basic concepts that you need to know in order to be able to cover the 11 plus English, maths, English, verbal and non-verbal reasoning syllabus. So as you can see, we have detailed out the upcoming topics for the upcoming months. And here you can see in English, we are covering information retrieval, descriptive, starting a story on a given line, close reading, all subtopics. So each class focuses on one subtopic, and these are monthly plans. So at around 99 pounds a month, you would be able to unlock all these classes. If you are registering for the year 4 weekend classes, you would also be unlocking our pre-11 plus solved and topic-wise questions, and also the year 4 maths assessment. So you would be able to unlock these papers for free. And those of you who are in year 5, if you register for the year 5 Sunday classes, you would also be getting all these resources for free. So you would get access to Maths, English, VR, and NVR live tutoring, followed by around 30,000 questions. So this is Maths Solve Past Papers, English Solve Past Papers, and all the packs that we have shown you during the webinar, which is verbal, non-verbal, the daily practice pack, the 14 mock exams that we just showed you, video courses, followed by the board-specific packs such as GL, CSSE, SCT, all of them. So you would be able to unlock all these packs at once with the year 5 weekend classes. So do give it a go. You would be able to access this in Pi Academy under 11 plus courses. So if you click 11 plus courses and scroll down, you would be able to see the year 4 and year 5 classes. So Richa has a question. Is grammar school entrance and independent school exam have the same format and topics? While they do not all have the same exact format nor the same exact topics, there still is around an 80 to 90% overlap. So it always makes sense to focus on the topic first. So for example, if your child is extremely well versed with algebra, the topic within 11 plus maths, they would be able to answer any algebra question which is asked by grammar schools, independent schools, regardless of which board. They would be able to focus on the concept itself. So right now, in the month of November, we recommend that you have a more holistic approach and focus on the syllabus rather than the board. So initially start focusing on each topic, each subtopic, make sure that the concepts are cleared, make sure that they are revising. And then around 3 to 4 months before the exam, you can start with a more targeted practice with the board specific packs. So if you're looking for grammar schools in Buckinghamshire or Kent, these are the packs for you. If the independent school that you are aiming at is following ISCB board, this is the pack for you. If they have an English component in their exam, this is the pack for you. So we would recommend that you go with more targeted format specific packs a few months closer to the final exam. But right now, in the month of November, the best thing to do is to check out the past papers and to check out all the various topic-wise practice papers that we have created, because it would create a great base for your child in the initial few months. Nanita has a question. If we opt for Sunday classes alone from now, will they be able to cover both grammar and independent schools by next semester? Yes, they will be able to do that. So we do understand this is one of the main concerns that a lot of parents have, is that they focus on multiple schools, which makes sense. But these schools, they follow different boards, or some of these schools could be grammar, some could be independent. So keeping this in mind, we have made sure that we cover the entire syllabus. So if you register for the Sunday classes and stay with us every month till September 2026, we will be able to cover all the topics within 11 plus English, whether you're practicing, whether you're preparing for grammar school or an independent school, it wouldn't matter, because all concepts would be very clear through the Sunday classes. And also to add here, we also give auto-marked homework at the end of each class, which is conducted on Sundays. So even this adds, and it really aids with the revision and helps the child recollect their concepts a lot better. So what is the duration of the class on Sunday? As you can see, these are the timings. For year 5, it starts from 1:15 p.m. and it ends at 4:15. So it's around 2.5 hours of class time. And we generally follow 1 hour for maths, 1 hour for English, and half an hour for verbal and non-verbal reasoning. And this is how the classes are structured. Nanita has a question. Will it only cover English? Then what about maths? We cover maths, English, verbal and non-verbal, all 4 subjects which are required, which are generally asked by most grammar and independent school. So you would be able to cover all the subjects and not just one particular subject. So Geeta has a question. Classes will be one-to-one or in group. So the Sunday classes are group classes where we have around 10 plus students per tutor. And if you are looking for more bespoke and more personalized approach, you can register with Pi Academy for our one-to-one tuitions. So the one-to-one tuition, as you can see here, these are bespoke classes which are between one student and one teacher. All our one-to-one tuitions start with a free diagnostic assessment. So basically, we make sure that we understand exactly where your child lies, which topics are their strengths, which topics are their weaknesses. And only after we conduct the diagnostic assessment do we create the bespoke tutoring plan for the one-to-one tuitions. So if you're looking to book only a diagnostic assessment, you can do that. You can, at the same time, book one of our tutors here. So we have tutors for year 2 and year 1. We have tutors for year 3, year 4, and also specific tutors for year 5, intensive preparation, or if you're preparing for 11 plus scholarship exams. So if you're looking for one-to-one tuition, you can check out the 11 plus tuition section on the mega menu. Gloria has a question. If a child misses a session, can he rewatch the recording? At the moment, we do not share recordings of our classes, and we would recommend that you make sure that you attend each class. But if in case they do miss for whatever reason, you can always access the video courses which are already included with the Sunday classes. So for example, if on a particular day, the child misses out on a class which was focusing on creative writing, descriptive writing, they can always go back to the video courses and finish the lesson from over there. Richa has a question for year 4. There is only one batch on Sunday. Yes, that is correct. On year 4, for year 4 classes, we have only one batch, and the timings for year 4 are 10:30 to 12:45. Whereas the timings for year 5 is slightly different. Year 5 starts from around 1:45, 1:15, and it ends at 4:15. Raj has a question. What are the topics already completed, or is it just a beginning? So this question, we do get this question a lot. So the way we have structured our Sunday classes is that if you stay with us for the next 6 months minimum, you will be covering the entire syllabus. So our syllabus, it basically keeps rotating. We keep rotating our classes, and we recommend that you that you subscribe to the Sunday classes for a minimum of 6 months. So in 6 months, we cover the entire syllabus. So it does not matter whether you join this month or the next month, as long as you stay with us for a total combined 6 months. So it would be a great time for you to register in this month of November, because it would give you sufficient time to cover all the concepts through the Sunday classes, and then have some more time for the mock exams and board-specific practice. So Raj has a question, is there a class today? We definitely do have a class today, although we do not have trial sessions, but you can definitely register, and perhaps you can make it in time for the class. Great. So looks like we have another question. Yes, will the webinar 30 apply for Sunday classes? So for Sunday classes, we do not provide the webinar 30 coupon, because we are already giving a very, you can say, affordable and very heavily discounted option, where for just £99 a month, you not only unlock 4 Sunday classes, but you also unlock the 30,000 questions which are listed here. So while you wouldn't be able to use the webinar 30 coupon code on the Sunday classes, you can definitely use it on all the past and practice papers, which are mentioned under pre-11, 11, 13 plus, all of this. All the past and practice papers are discounted with the webinar 30 coupon code. And for those of you who are looking for video courses or mock exams, even these are discounted under the webinar 30 coupon code. Gloria has a question. Do you have tutors to support the child in all 4 topics for specific independent schools? Definitely. We do that. We already are working with a lot of students who have very unique requirements, and we can definitely cover all the 4 topics. We would generally be providing you with a specialized tutor for English and a specialized tutor for maths and reasoning. And with this, we will be able to provide you with the tutoring support. Yes. So yes, Geeta has a question. Looks like this is a recording session. Are you going to share it? Yes, we will be sharing the link to our YouTube channel, where you would be able to find this webinar and the various webinars we've run in the past, including the master classes that we have run in the past. So do check out Pi Academy's YouTube channel. I would request our support team to just drop the link to our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to it and go back to any webinar at any point in time. Uday has a question. Is the all-in-one video course, it doesn't have 30% off? That's right. So the bundle where you are anyway, as you can see, there's a huge discount that we're giving you on the bundle itself. So while the bundle doesn't have a 30% off, the individual video courses, they all have 30% off. So if you decide that you only want to focus on perhaps Algebra Advanced and Algebra Beginner, you can add it to your cart and apply the coupon code. You would be able to save 30% that way. Thank you, Geeta, for your message. And with this, we would call an end to the webinar. Thank you all of you for joining. Take a look at the coupon code again. It's webinar 30. It's valid for the next 24 hours. And do make good use of the coupon. So thank you so much and have a wonderful Sunday.